بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. I would like to welcome all of you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Today, we are going to go through chapter, this is Principles of Management, Management 301. We are going to go through chapter 4, which is Managing in Global Environment. And today, September 13, 2020, and this is Dr. Saamer Hamad. I started just to gain some time, putting some exhibits here that we went through last time. Today, we are going to go and talk about managing in a global environment. And just to make this short, last time on last chapter, this is, the Saudi Arabia. We have several companies or organizations. They are connected to government and government organization, but these companies are also connected to other companies. A group of companies has 50 companies or whatever, and they are representing or dealer or whatever, representing other national companies. And they have probably, like France, Britain, China, USA, and other countries. Last time we did discuss also that, if a businessman brings something, he faces so many forces, and we discussed these forces, the general environment and the minimal environment, and he always think of these things, what's going on in the world, whether it is a disaster or whether it's a war, whether it is, COVID-19 or whatever. These are affect the business a lot, and that's why business becomes so fragile. Okay. Now, also the trend is that we have the management, okay, organization went from the 80s, from the tall organization to flat organization in the 90s, and after the 2000 we have a kind of network kind of organization. Otherwise, they divided the big company into smaller companies so that each one could survive. And if there is one that goes bankrupt or couldn't survive, it doesn't affect the whole group. Okay. Example of tall companies, mainly the US companies, the flat companies, Japanese companies, and the network is the global companies. We also talked last time about the omnipotent and the symbolic viewpoint. And the omnipotent, the manager is responsible for the success or failure, and the symbolic external forces are the responsible for any success or failure. Okay, and manager, we talked about management discretion that affected mainly by the organization culture and organizational environment. And I would like also to talk about certain trends, okay, global trends, and this is competition, increased competition, okay, in the world, and we have shortened the product life cycle, importance of export and import. We have worldwide communication become easier and much advanced and fast technologies. New countries emerges, and we have what we call borderless organization. Organization has no more borders, they are everywhere, okay? And we have worldwide labor pool. What I mean by that? The history for movement of the world, the labor was, they used to migrate to wherever the business or industry is. Example, Detroit, Michigan. Lots of people from Yemen, from from that area. Stuttgart in Germany. Lots of people from Turkey. They go there for that reason. Now that was took place 60s, 70s, almost 80, between 80 and 90. We start seeing that the business itself or factories migrated to where the cheap labor is. Therefore, we've seen US factories, Japanese, and European, they migrated to China, Vietnam, Indonesia, and so on and so forth. And this is just a brief history about the labor movement and migration. Okay, and I start talking about the First World War. Okay, and this is where the First World War between 1914 to 1980, we have the casualties of 70 million. Okay, and during that time, League of Nations has been established, okay, in 1919, okay, and it didn't do good job when the Second World War came. Okay, Second World War, it was between 1939 to 1945. We have between 60. Here, the First World War, we have 17 million casualties, and the Second World War between 73 million. There are some figure 63 that declared by the countries, but other statistics talked about 73 million. Okay. Now, during that time, United Nations, because League of Nations didn't do a good job, it has been dissolved. At 1945, League of Nations, United Nations has been established. These are too important. Is this related to business? Yes. Is it important? Yes, very important. Okay. Now, I want you to appreciate that the world after the Second World War, they thought of ways of whenever there is political dispute, rather than going into war, they should come to place, organization, entity, and solve the problem. They try with the League of Nations, then they establish United Nations that exists till now. Any problem, they go there. From that time, they felt that there should be another arm. United Nations is political arm. We should have business, trade, economic arm that will make also business easy in the world. And that's from that time people start thinking about WTO, World Trade Organization. As early as they started, during that time, they started a series of negotiation. Okay, GATT. Okay, series of negotiation that has 23 during that time, as early as 1945, they started to put a series of negotiation, and took place between 86 to 93. Okay, and then we have in 1992 we have European Union. Okay, this is 1992. And then we have 1994 NAFTA. And then we have WTO was established in 1995. This is all important, okay? So that to regulate and help business within the within the world environment. GATT started as early as 1947. Therefore, immediately after the Second World War, just 2 years, they have this. Therefore, this is mainly is going to be our chapter, okay, that we will be talking about managing in a global environment, okay? We have something called parochialism, which is, now, what is your global perspectives? What is the global perspectives? We have two perspectives, okay? The first is parochialism, which is viewing the world slowly through one's own eye and perspective. I see the world from my own view and my own perspective, okay? It's not recognizing that others have different ways of living and working. Now it's changing because, you know, it's been people and nations being forced to change their views. Is a significant obstacle for managers working in a global business world. Therefore, if you work in a global, if you work globally and you belong to one nation, you always have to respect other cultures, as we discussed previously, and you have to have the ability to accept that these are also are professionals and they can also provide something maybe better than what you have. Is falling into the trap of ignoring others' value and customs and rigidly applying an attitude of ours is better than theirs to foreign culture. This is very dangerous. We are the best. Our way is better. Our way is the best. This is very dangerous. This is what we call it parochialism. Okay? Now, we have also anthrocentric attitude, which is the parochialistic belief that the best work approach and practices are those of my home country. I feel best practices, my own country, okay? Polycentric attitude, the view that managers in the host country knows the best work approach and the practices of running their own business. You remember, I just told you at the beginning, business and factories migrated to where the labor is, China, Indonesia, and Vietnam, and others. This is the view that managers in the host country knows that the best approach and the practices for running their business. Okay, host country. Geocentric attitude, it's a world orientation or world-oriented view that focus on using the best approaches and people from around the globe. I don't care. It's not necessarily in my country. It's not necessarily in another country. I look for best practice, then I do it. Whether it comes from China, Korea, from Japan, from France, from England, from United States, from Brazil, I don't care, okay? You look for best practice. This is the globe view. Okay, regional trading alliance, okay, an economic and political partnership of 28 democratic European countries. Its current membership covers population based nearly 500 million people, 1/2 billion. And it accounts for approximately 31% of the world total economic output. Very strong economic. Another step toward unification occurred when 15 European members or country members adopted the common currency. They have the euro. Only Denmark and the United Kingdom and Sweden has been allowed to option out of using the euro. This is we talked about EU, okay? This is the European Union, okay? This is all the countries of European Union, okay? Eurozone, European Union, and candidates that will join, mainly in Europe. 500 million, 1/3 of world economy. Regional Trade Alliance, the Council of Arab Economic Unity, established by 1957, as early as that, established by Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Libya, Mauritania, Palestine, Somalia, Sudan, Tunisia, Syria, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. In June 57, the organization aimed to achieve economic integration, promoting an environment of a free movement of labor, capital, and services. Good intentions. Now, GAFTA, the Greater Arab Free Trade Area, is a pact made by Arab League to achieve a complete Arab economic bloc that can compete internationally. The project was adopted in the Arab League Summit of Amman in 1997, with 17 Arab League members signing the pact. The agreement aimed to reaching full liberalization of trade among members states and facilitate commercial activities. NAFTA, North America Free Trade Agreement, eliminating barriers to free trade, tariff, import, licensing requirement, and custom user fees. It covers United States, Canada, and Mexico. The GCC country, the Gulf Cooperation country, one of the most effective and successful cooperation took place at the GCC countries, created in 1981. It comprised the Arab Gulf state of Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. The objective are to effect coordination, integration, and interconnection in all fields, strengthening ties between their peoples, formulating similar regulation, as well as fostering scientific and technical progress, and encouraging cooperation of the private sector. This is the GCC countries: Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Oman, and Kuwait. Okay. We have the ASEAN, which is Association of Southeast Asian Nations. This is trade alliance of 10 Southeast Asian nations, and an interestingly important regional economic and political alliance, whose impact could eventually rival that of NAFTA and United Nations. Therefore, we have European Union. We have European Union, we have United Nations, and we have Asian in the Far East. African Union, 53 nation, African Union, AU, came into existence in 2002 with the vision of building an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa. South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SARC, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Maldives, and Afghanistan also have the SARC's. This is a group, economic group and business group. Okay, the World Trade Organization, okay, evolved as we discussed from the General Agreement for Tariff and Trade (GATT) in 1995, but functions as the only global organization dealing with the rules of trades among countries, has 149 members, nations, and 32 observer government, and monitor and promote world trade. Okay, now let me also go into an important fact or an important issue depending on the complexity of operation and depending on the resources committed. Depending on the complexity of operation and depending on the resources committed. Okay. Accordingly, going international, okay, strategies for international operation, going international, strategies for international operation, we have exporting facilities, then licensing facilities, then franchising, then alliance, then multi-domestic, then global. Now, organizing for going international operation start with commission agent, then export manager, export department, international corporation, then multinational corporation. So we start here, strategies for international operation. We start with exporting, and then licensing, okay, then franchising, and then alliance, which is joint venture, and multinational corporation, and global corporation. I'll tell you the difference in a minute between them. Now, organizing for international operation, you start with commission agent, then you go to export manager, Then you go to export department. Then you go to international operation. Then you go to multinational operation. Okay. It's important, depending on complexity of operation and depending on the resources committed. Strategic for international operation, we start with exporting, licensing, franchising, alliances, multinational corporation, then we go to globalization. Organizing for going international, you start by commission agent, export agent, then export department, international operation, then multinational operation. Example, let's assume that Zamel factory, they wanted to, they have air condition to sell, and they would like to go global or multinational. They start with commission agent. They just sell countries through commission agent, or they put agent in different countries. Then they put export manager. Then they put department on those countries. Then they do international operation. They said they decided to go ahead and make a factory for them where? In Vietnam. Then they go multinational. They start putting in China and other. Now, again, here, the resources, depending on the resources committed, and this is a complexity of operations, strategies for international. People, the companies, they start with exporting. They export. Licensing, I give you the license to do a factory for paint or for whatever product or for spare part. I will give you license to do it. Franchising, more involvement. I come and I manage, participate to make sure, just like McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut, Holiday Inn, Marriott, these are all franchises. Multinational corporation, huge corporation that has operation. Okay, alliances is the joint venture. Aramco assume they would like to build refineries. They go with Exxon or Mobil. This is, they call it alliances. Alliances takes a three type: company to company, or company to government, or government to government. This is especially for defense and for the. Then you go to multinational company. Multinational company, headquarter in my country, United States or Britain, or, and then I have operation all over the world. Globalization, no. I have like Japan. They don't care. They consider their market is a part of global market, and it just happened to be that the headquarter in Japan. It could be in Singapore. It could be in the United States, wherever. Therefore, this is globalization. I produce for the whole world, and my market is part of that world. There are some Japanese car in Japan is more expensive than if you buy them from outside. While the multinational, no, I produce for my market, then I make special versions to export nationally. MNC, multinational corporation, maintaining operation in multiple countries. Multi-domestic corporation is an MNC that decentralizes management and other decisions to the local country. Okay, global company is an MNC that centralizes its management and other decisions in the home country, and we have what we call transitional corporation or borderless organization, which is an MNC multinational corporation that has eliminated structural divisions that impose artificial geographic barriers and is organized along business lines that reflect a geocentric attitude. This is how organizations go global, minimize global investment, and this is significant global investment. Minimize global sourcing, okay? And in between, we have the exporting and importing, licensing, franchising, discuss them, and significant global investment. We have a strategic alliance, joint venture, I also discuss it, and foreign subsidiaries. Okay, global sourcing, or sometimes called global outsourcing. Global sourcing means that I should concentrate in the core business of mine. I'm Aramco, I concentrate only in the core business of oil. I don't do housing, I don't do healthcare, I don't do, this is not, I outsource all that. Even, I don't do valves, I don't do, anything that somebody else can do it for me cheaper, I should immediately outsource it. Therefore, you concentrate in your core business, whether Aramco, Skiko, Sabic, or any other global company, okay? Global sourcing or global outsourcing, purchasing materials, labor from around the world based on lowest cost. The goal is to take advantage of low cost in the cost in order to be more competitive. Exporting is the organization's product to other countries that is making products domestically and selling them abroad. Licensing or franchising, when organizations giving another organization the right to use its brand, name, technology, or a product specification in return of fixed payment or fee, usually call it royalty fee, or usually and also based on sale. Strategic alliance, it's a partnership between an organization, as we said, example of a foreign company in which both shared source and knowledge in developing new products or building a new production facility. I brought you an example. When Aramco build refineries, they go and they make strategic alliance with Shell, Mobil, or Total. Okay, joint venture is a specific type of strategic alliance. It has limited time. Okay, alliance in which partners agree from a separate independent organization for some business purpose. We make joint venture to do big projects or mega projects, or to do railroad lines, or huge infrastructure. This is called joint venture. As I said, joint venture could be company to company, or company to government, or government to government. Foreign subsidiaries directly investing in a foreign country by setting up a separate and independent production facility or office. This is world internet use and population statistic. It's very old. I don't want to, because it is 1914, and now it has changed a lot. Therefore, I'm not going to go, but I leave it for your leisure time to go through it, okay? But we'll give you an indication, but it's not updated. Okay, political and legal environment. Political and legal environment, okay? Stability or instability of legal and political system reflect a lot to the business. Decision maker to invest, they always look at political stability. If it is stable, then you will see all these franchises and all these business will come. Stability is, or instability of legal political system. Legal procedures are established and followed. Fair and honest election help on a regular basis, differences in the laws of various nations. Some countries have risky political climate. Therefore, they will not, companies will not invest accordingly. We have two types of market: the free market economy, an economy in which resources are primarily owned and controlled by the private sector; planned economy, an economy in which all economic decisions are planned by central government. Planned economy like China, like Russia; free economy like United States, okay? We have monetary and financial factors, which is the currency exchange rate, inflation rate, and diverse tax policies. These are all affect, okay? Then we have what we call national culture. National culture, okay? National culture, the values and attitudes shared by individuals from a specific country that shape their behavior and their beliefs about what is important. It may have more influence on an organization than the organization culture. Okay, culture contrast. You have the American, Arab, Japanese. Good example, like American freedom. Here's family security. Japanese belongings. Competition in the American culture. In Arab culture, compromise. In Japanese cooperation. In terms of money. The American culture's money, here's the religious beliefs, while here's the group achievement, and so on. And last one is the American privacy, while the Arabs belongings, and Japanese harmony with nature. Very interesting. Question. Culture. We talked about culture. Can we measure the culture? Can we measure the components of culture? Answer is, there is a study has been done by Hofstede, okay? He put a framework for assessing culture. Culture, individualism versus collectivism. If anything happen, I'm there by myself, or collectivism, everybody will help. How far power distance you are from the power, okay? Uncertainty avoidance, okay? Achievement versus nurturing, and long-term versus short-term orientation. So these are the 5 aspects of the culture that has been measured by Hofstede, okay? And individualistic versus collectivism, very individualistic, United States, Canada, Australia, and medium Japanese, Arab countries, and Mexico and Thailand is in the low side. Okay, highly individualistic. This is in the low side. Sorry, individualistic versus collectivism. Okay. Again, high power distance, how far you are from the decision makers, how far from the power, high power distance versus low power, high power, low power. Examples are Mexico, Arab countries, Singapore, and the high power, Italy, Japan, the middle, and the low power distance, United States, Sweden. Now, achievement and nurturing, okay? Achievement and nurturing, we have achieving versus nurturing. We have achieving United States, Japan, Mexico, Arab in the middle, Canada and the Greek, and the French, nurturing French and Sweden. Okay, global framework for assessing culture. Power distance, as we say, the degree to which members of society expect power to be unequally shared. Uncertainty avoidance, which is society alliance on social norms and procedures to alleviate the unpredictability of the future events. Assertiveness, the extent to which society encourage people to be tough, confrontational, assertive, and competitive rather than modest and tender. Very good. The global framework of assessing culture, again, we have human orientation, future orientation, and institutional collectivism. Human orientation, the degree to which a society encourage and reward individuals for being fair, generous, caring, and kind. Future orientation, the extent to which society encourages and reward future-oriented behavior such as planning, investing, and in the future, and delaying gratification. Institutional collectivism, the degree to which the individuals are encouraged by societal institutions to be integrated into the groups in organization and society. The global, again, in a framework for assessing cultures, we have gender differentiation and gender role differences. And the gender differentiation, the extent to which a society maximizes gender role differences as measured by how much status and decision-making responsibilities women have. In-group collectivism, the extent to which members of the society take pride in membership in small groups, such as their families, their circles of close friends, and the organizations in which they are employed. People from Aramco very proud that they belong to Aramco, for instance. People from KFUPM very proud that they are part of from KFUPM. Performance orientation, the degree to which society encourages and rewards group members for performance improvement and excellence. This is another global highlight, shows these dimensions: assertiveness, future orientation, gender orientation, uncertainty, avoidance, power distance. This is all, by the way, from the study from Upstate. Power distance, individualism versus collectivism, and group collectivism, performance orientation, and human orientation. And he put several countries that rating low, medium, high. Some of the countries that countries that rated low is Sweden, Russia, Poland, Sweden, Denmark, South Africa, New Zealand, and so Germany. Countries that who are moderate: Egypt, Italy, United States, United Arab Emirates, United States, also Brazil, Hong Kong, Sweden, Taiwan. Countries who are rating high: Spain, United States, Greek, Netherlands, Egypt, Germany, and some of, depending on the dimension that you are measuring, okay? Challenges. What challenges? Global management in today's world, we have challenges. Openness associated with the globalization, significant culture differences, which is Americanization. It's, for example, being American, you have to identify and you have to respect other culture, and you have to adhere that these also they have good practices as well. Economic interdependent of trading countries, intense culture differences, adjust leadership style and management approach, and the global mindset, attributes that allow a leader to be effective in a cross-culture environment. Very important. And a manager have the ability to have this global mindset, ability to work with all other cultures and to get the best or the maximum out of all of them. Okay. we have accordingly what we call intellectual capital, okay, knowledge of international business and the capacity to understand how business works on a global scale. We have psychological capital, openness to new ideas and experience. And we have social capital, which is ability to form connection and build trusting relationship with people who are different from you. By this slide, we conclude our Chapter 4, Managing in a Global Environment. This is Management 301, September 13, Dr. Samir Hamad. Now I will take the camera and put it into my board so that you can also capture it and make make a capture of it that will help you. We first talked about the forces affecting the business and the business connection all over the world. Then we talked about the omnipotent versus symbolic type of a viewpoint for managers, okay? And then we talked about the organization structure becoming from tall to flat to network. And then we talked about the history of the World War One, Two, and the GATT, European Union, NAFTA, WTO. And then we talked about operation globally depending on the resources committed and complexity of operation. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.